21. The old man, walking hive, mobile bug heap, insectile congeries, whatever it was, indicated wisely. The jungle path takes us swiftly to a ramp that leads up to the ruined fortress. For a moment we pause at the edge of the forest. Bird calls ghost through the tangle of branches. Toady reptiles cling to slimy tree trunks. They regard us with bulbous alien eyes. Insects buzz all around. We're both watchful. Those are vicious pests, ready to dart and sting in the blink of an eye. At that moment, I hear a voice calling from a thicket of swaying canes. "Hey! Hey!" I look through the mass of shifting stalks that are twice as tall as me. "Hey, Johnny!" I glance at the professor. "That sounds like Disari." I move towards the canes. "He must have managed to escape." "Take care, Johnny. It might not be really him. I'll take a chance." I run toward the thicket. Standing there on a pathway is Ranger Disari. He's lost his helmet and his weapon. He looks dishevelled, exhausted. His face is scratched. Nonetheless, he's smiling broadly. "Johnny, sweet life, am I pleased to see you." I begin to walk toward him, but the professor catches me by the elbow. "Caution, remember." "Disari, where are the others?" I ask. "I don't know. We had to split when we saw the Daleks. I've been running for hours." He begins kicking at the vegetation that swarms over the forest floor. He's searching for something. "I dropped my weapon," he explains. "Hell's door, how unprofessional is that? But I nearly bust a vein when I saw that." He pushes aside a bush that conceals a cone-shaped object. I start back with a gasp. "Don't worry, it's dead. I've met more dangerous juice cartons." The bush he rips down reveals a Dalek. Rust stains smear its flanks. Vines climb over its shell. The eye stalk and 2 frontal limbs hang limply down. In a relaxed way, Disari kicks it. A hollow clang rings from the metallic body, the sound of an ancient mortuary bell. Disari shakes his head. "It's been rotting there for centuries. It gave me a shock when I walked into it, I can tell you. Ran like crazy and jumped into that crater over there. Only I went and dropped my gun in the process. It must be hidden under these vines. Sweet life, look at them! They crawl like snakes." "I'll give you a hand," I tell him. "Professor, you'd best stay back. These weapons can become unstable if they're damaged." "Oh, don't worry. I'll watch from a safe distance. Besides, our white-haired friend might make an appearance." I return to the search. "No wonder you can't find the gun, Disari. The moment you shift the vines, they shift themselves right back. It's like trying to part water. Any luck?" "No, I'm not even sure if I searched this area before." Grunting, he stands up with a handful of vines he's snapped away from their bulbous roots. He slings them back over one shoulder, where they rattle against the corroding Dalek. "Man, I'm glad to hook up with you again, Jeremy. This is one dreary place. I didn't want to wind up spending my days and nights alone here." I crouch on the ground, running my hands through that tangle of vines, trying to find the ranger's gun as much by touch as by sight. My weapon is slung across my back. I feel the heat of the ammo cyst through my suit. For a while, I suspected that Disari was one of the walking hives, but from the way he bled from scratches and rumbled on in that garrulous way of his, I knew it was the real Disari, mental ranger of 6 years standing. Disari tends not to grab more than half a breath between every 500 words or so of speech. I guess he's relieved to find a comrade. Crap! You'd think that after all this time they'd have developed a gun that would come running when you whistled for the thing. Grinning, he whistles. Here, boy! Here, boy! I'm working my way through the vines and glance up at him as he stands there, hands on hips, monologuing his way through my search for his weapon. Jommy, let me tell you, when you qualify, you want to enroll in strategic ops. They have soft chairs and big, big desks. They don't crawl through swamps on their bellies looking for old tin pots that have been dead for 1,000 years. He jerks his head back at the Dalek that's rotting away into jungle loam. Strategic ops get extras. They get superior transport. They get apartments with views of the ocean. They don't eat supper out of a plastic bag. My eyes stray from his face as his monologue becomes a grouch about the hardship of a ranger's way of life. The Dalek sits in the dirt. Butterflies flutter above it. A bird calls in a tree. Then, in one smooth movement, the old demon draws breath. The eye stalk smoothly lifts to the horizontal. Fluidly, the limb and weapons do the same. And at that moment, though I don't see it, instinct alone tells me that a flood of some power, dormant for centuries, has just surged through the dark heart of the machine. Suddenly, its flanks acquire an uncanny luster. The moss and vines creeping over the carapace wither and shrink as life with a deadly purpose flows into once inert components. And I tell you this, Jeremy, as soon as I get back to the ship, I'm filing my application. Yep, that's right, buddy. It's time Disari got some soft bedtime too, or Disari, down, flat! Still crouching, I swing my weapon up, ready to fire the moment Disari throws himself to the ground. But my warning hasn't registered. He merely gives me a puzzled look while hunching one shoulder as if to ask, "What the hell are you playing at? Disari, down!" That's the second he realizes. His horrified eyes meet mine. Then he spins to see the Dalek as it rotates its flattened dome to lock its eye stalk on the man, while simultaneously targeting him with its weapon. The blast wave shakes blossom from the trees. I smell burning meat. The concussion comes like a boot stamping into the side of my face. I couldn't fire before because Disari was in the way. Now my answering shot won't harm him. The blast from the Dalek's weapon has punched the ranger's torso into burning fragments and torn his head free from his neck. Sickeningly, the flayed skull rolls across the ground to stop right by me. Its eyes still shift from side to side as steam and blood ooze from its jaws. In the split second that I absorb the ugly scene, I automatically fire. The explosion tears the top off the Dalek, sending a geyser of biological matter and debris high in the air. There's a sudden silence. Strangely, the very absence of sound hurts my ears. Then the insects begin to buzz again, and the birds call to one another. The professor runs up to me. Jommy, are you all right?" I cover the seared skull with a handful of vines. Then, without a backward glance at the smashed Dalek, I walk away. "Jommy," the professor tells me, "you should rest for a while." Grim-faced, I shake my head. "We've wasted enough time, come on." The professor is staring at the ruined machine. "Jommy, that's a Dalek?" "That was a Dalek." We leave the remains of Ranger Disari and the Dalek behind. In moments, we've reached the ramp that, hugging the face of the cliff, rises to the Dalek fortress. Before climbing, we check the screen that the professor unfolds from his pocket. It shows the platoon in their cells. They are enduring torture, nothing less. Every few minutes, Kai's cell is engulfed with water. Again and again she fires the gun, punching a hole through the wall. The water empties, then the rupture reseals. She's exhausted. I know she can't last much longer. The same goes for Captain Vey, whose face is marked with cuts from tireless attacks by the creature. Pup crushes ant-like insects beneath his boots to prevent them from swarming up his legs. Rain bursts a walking hive with her fists. Meanwhile, the mouth of the pit in Philib's cell has devoured half the floor space. This renews the urgency in our pace. The professor insists on leading the way up the ramp. He estimates it will take a good 15 minutes to climb to where the cuboid building rests on the cliff top. Despite my relentless training at the academy for these kind of operations, I find the heat and humidity debilitating. My feet feel as if they've been encased in iron as I climb. The professor's stamina astounds me. Time and again I have to grit my teeth and increase my speed to keep up with him. He estimated 15 minutes. We made it in 12. The ramp sweeps inward through a doorway that's twice as high as a man, yet built for no man. Close up now, I see vines clinging to the face of the structure, veins of festering green from which clusters of poisonous-looking red berries hang. At one side, the cuboid superstructure runs into the bedrock, as if the stone has become fluid at some point and part of the building has simply sunk into it. At the other side, the cubes stand on slender pylons that are interconnected by more of the aerial tubeways. The place breathes a blood-chilling desolation. This could be some lonesome graveyard. Nothing moves. The spirit of abandonment passes through these dead buildings like a lost soul. Suddenly, I'm struck by self-doubt. Are we sure they're here? Your friends? We can't be sure, but of all the places we've seen, this seems most likely. Then we're being lured here too. It can't be a mere random set of circumstances that dumped us by a bank of monitors that show the platoon being tortured. Oh yes, it's dangerous, incredibly so. He gazes up at a moss-covered column. All of what we've witnessed suggests that we'll end our days in a cell too. Tormented by Daleks, I add bitterly. You'd go back? Me? Retreat? Never! I check the weapon. The power level has been falling. I've still got 30 shots here. If I take even 10 Daleks into oblivion with me, then that's fine. I move forward, my training taking over. I'm alert to every movement, whether it's an insect flying by or a leaf trembling before a breath of that hot, moist air. Stay behind me, Professor. I'm the one with the gun, remember? Agreed, he nods. Agreed with passion. Lead on. We're inside the building now. This is a vast entrance hall with high ceilings. Grey tubes snake through the air above our heads. Clumps of grass grow from the floor. Maggots swarm in the torn body of a dead toad. A bush with brilliant blue fruit grows from a fissure in the wall. It drips a toxic sap that has killed and stunted all the plants nearby. In here, there is nothing that I would recognize as furniture, merely angular extrusions from the floor. Most of these are black. A number have monitors inset into their flanks. They show my friends at torture, water, insects, pit, beast. They are weakening. I find myself wondering, who will be the first to die? A geometric shape glides from behind one of the monolithic forms. Dalek! I shout the warning. A split second later, I aim my weapon at the metallic cone with its eye stalk and gunstick trained on me. Wait! The professor shouts. Faster than I can fire, he scoops a fist-sized hunk of metal from the floor debris and lobs it at the Dalek. The scrap metal strikes the Dalek dead center. There's a thud, rather than the expected clang. Instantly, it dissolves into a cloud of insects that disperse into the vast hall. Remember, Jeremy, nothing is as it seems. I glance at the firearms indicator. That's a precious shot saved. It also serves as a warning that I should be on guard at all times. We move toward the only other exit from the hall. From the shadows, another figure glides forward. This is different. I react on the level of creature instinct. To the professor, I hiss, "Get down!" At the academy, we are trained to do the impossible. That is, to evade Dalek weaponry once it's locked onto us as a target. Only 1 in 1,000 possesses the ability to do this. Those who can are offered the opportunity of a career in the Ranger Division, a posting of unmatched prestige and honour. You must have a gymnast's prowess and be able to move with incredible speed, first in one direction and then in another, fluidly changing course without pause and maintaining sufficient acceleration to break free of the Dalek's targeting system. Simultaneously, the Ranger must be able to fire with total accuracy. I do this now, move forward and left, then snap right. The Dalek fires first. I feel the surge of heat through my suit. A miss! Behind me, the structure of the building absorbs the explosive energy of the blast, as it's surely designed to do. My turn. The shot hits the Dalek with enough force to shear its limbs. A split second later, the superheated particle stream incinerates the organic component of the monster, with such a furious rapidity that the metal carcass explodes, flinging debris the full length of the hall. Glancing at the ammo meter, I click my tongue. It's drawing the soup out of the cyst like I don't know what. I figure I'm down to 10 shots. We need to move quickly then. I sprint into the passageway, over smouldering Dalek fragments, with the Professor following. But this place is big. It's huge. Where am I going to find those torture cells?